Mike's Daily Podcast.
Welcome to FF episode 1552-1552. I'm Mike Matthews, broadcasting from Cafe Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valleymont. Today, we hear from Madame Rootabega, Valentino, Bison Bentley. And we have... did that make any sense? I don't know. I listened to a bunch of podcasts over the weekend, and I notice when I read news stories, I sometimes will slur.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I slur and I don't pronounce my words correctly. So I will try to...
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Not talk like that. I had a wonderful weekend. It's true, I went with my dog, Basil the boxer. You knew I was going to mention him, but we went to a place called Carmel, and I got there kind of late. But I'll tell you, I enjoyed another part of Monterey, this beach. I think it's called the Dunes.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Basil the boxer and I were there. It was beautiful and clear, and lots of women in hot bikinis.
Mike's
in
Daily
Northern California.
Podcast.
It was amazing because you never see women in bikinis in Northern California. Oh yeah, they're all over Southern California, but not up here. So some Republicans are distancing themselves from Trump on the memo. Are you tired of the memo? Memo. Good God, I've heard so much about the memo. I have to talk like Trump now when he says,
I say it's better to get along with Russia than not.
Well, he wants to get along with... Oh, wait, Trey Gowdy. Trey Gowdy had something to say. What did Trey Gowdy say? Oh, we'll find out in a moment. Hey, look who walked in. Hello, Michael Myers, Madame Rootabega. I was in your cartoon on the Friday show. Oh, you were. We were talking. You were holding a groundhog. How was that? Don't drive angry. That's all I remember from that movie. I block out that movie. I hate repetitive, like that one with the Tom Cruise, and he keeps living the same day over and over again with Emily Blunt, which I wouldn't mind spending every day with Emily Blunt. Emily Blunt looks rather nice. Oh, something happened to me. Look who else walked in. Jumping all over the place. I'm like one of those beans that jumps around. I don't know what I'm talking about. Look who walked in. Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant. And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that? Yes.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Those are characters that just popped in to say hello to you, listener of this show, podcast listener. Well, maybe I'll go with this podcast picture. Okay, yeah, this is from Monterey, and it's a beautiful day in Monterey, and there was the seagulls were flying, and there was what do you call it? The tourists everywhere, and oh, there they were. It was a beautiful day, and people, hey, that seagull stole my hat. And so nice. And, well, I enjoyed it with, once again, Basil the boxer. He barked at some of the seagulls, and it was fun. All right, I'm going to tell you what I did while I was down in Monterey. I had coffee with my ex-wife and got to see... I like to go and see her because she had a baby last year, and I like to see her beautiful daughter, Olivia, is almost 1 year old. And I wanted to stop by and say hi because she lives down there. So it was a cool trip because I got to see someone I used to be married to, and got to see the daughter that she brought into this world. And I didn't see her husband this time. He's recuperating from something, but he's doing okay. So I usually see him when I come down. He's a very nice guy. So that's how it is with Mike, because Mike doesn't, even though he complains about just about every single thing on the planet, Mike Matthews does, and gripes, there are some things he does cherish friendships and tries to keep them going, and it's not like we're two very, we're smart human beings, and I hope we are smart human beings on this planet. And I heard a lot of stuff over the weekend. It was kind of sensationalist stuff. What's Trump saying about North Korea, blah, blah, blah. And we're just about to have the Olympics start on Friday, where I'm hoping for a little bit more, better angels, that cooler heads prevail, and that we have a good Olympics, and that we have, North Korea and South Korea getting along, and we should get along, and it's better to get along with Russia than not. I guess that's what Trump said. But back to the memo, now that's where cooler heads have not prevailed, and we got a very partisan rancor going on back and forth in politics, and I just get really... first off, my hypocrisy thing goes off in my head, a meter, and I hear people going on and on about the FBI, the Republicans going, FBI did this and that, and they're horrible, and they did this when they were applauding when Comey was investigating Hillary. Remember that, when he was investigating Hillary? Oh, he's going to find all kinds of stuff. And then he didn't find a bunch of stuff to lock her up as they wanted to do. So then they were like, the FBI doesn't work. Let's go after the FBI. Oh, the FBI is investigating Trump. The FBI sucks. So it's... we have to remember things like when I tried to check myself before I wreck myself. I'm not going to play that clip this time, but I just try to make sure that I'm not... When we're being hypocritical, it means we're not learning. We're not learning from where we've been. And I just want us to do that, to remember history and not revise it like our president tends to do. And he's always done. And, the whole Obama birther thing, that's what he was part of that. And he didn't even believe it when Obama he showed his frickin' birth certificate. He still was, it's a lie. And so that's the kind of guy our president is, and that's the kind of guy that half our country voted for, and they want. And so I just don't... I think we need to have cooler heads. I don't know if I should call this show Memo or Cooler, or Better, or Angels, or something. I always just go with the one word. But there is a fierce partisan battle over the Justice Department and its role in the Russian investigation, and I'm not going to try and slur... I'm going to try and not slur my words as I read this story. But I know when I start reading something, it makes your eyes glaze over. So I just want to read this to you and tell you we're in the second week. The Democrats are trying to persuade the House Intelligence Committee to release a 10-page rebuttal to the controversial Republican memo alleging surveillance abuse. There's the beautiful Andrea Tantaros. And they're trying to talk about her on this MSN Law and Crime something. They have an issue with Andrea. I have no issue with Andrea Tantaros. She's beautiful. And a very beautiful lady at Starbucks yesterday. I don't know what was going on, but so Saturday I went to Carmel, Monterey, and Basil ran on the beach, and it was wonderful. And we got to Carmel late, and the sun was setting, but I met these two wonderful ladies. I think one of them was married. They were from San Mateo. Very nice. And they took a picture of me with Basil. I'll probably have that picture later on in the week. But they were very nice, and we were talking about how the Bay Area has a lot of dog parks. And if you're a dog owner, that's awesome. But my point back to yesterday, Starbucks... Women never, ever look at me. I want you to know that. Part of that is the thing that I'm almost 50, and the older you get as a man, the more invisible you get, and women don't see you anymore, and you just sort of vanish, and you become that Clay Aiken song, If I Was Invisible. And, I don't mean to bring up famous gay pop singers, but I watched a thing about George Michael yesterday, on YouTube, as I watch a bunch of stuff on YouTube. And I watched something about the Smothers Brothers' last their last episode that they videotaped that never aired because is it David Steinberg was on there, the comedian, and he did this like a pretend sermon, which was not blasphemous at all, but apparently CBS saw an advanced airing of the tape, and they decided, nope, we're not gonna show it, and they fired the Smothers Brothers. And the Smothers Brothers in the late 60s in 69 were making these very, like, subdued comments about the Vietnam War, but they're just sort of hinting in a very roundabout way about it, that you'd have to be somewhat intelligent to know what they were poking fun at. And they were in a roundabout way poking fun at Nixon. But CBS was, oh, no, they can't do it. So they were an interesting oddity of American pop culture back in the 60s. And I've been observing pop culture all my life. So almost 50 years now. And to me, that was fascinating. I love just absorbing this sort of thing. But, oh, by the way, in the startup world that we live in, my roommate has gotten hired by a startup. So congratulations out to him. He haven't used any of my sound effects yet. So I will use this one for my roommate. Okay, that was good. So good. Congratulations to him. But, and then on C-SPAN, they had their Republican National Committee winter meeting. They were publicizing that on C-SPAN. They're broadcasting that. And they're going to have this commercial out about Sat There. I think it's called Sat There, where they're showing all the video of the Democrats as Trump is giving his speech at the State of the Union last week that just sit there and don't clap. And they're like, oh, look how they disrespected our president by not clapping and just sitting there. When I saw that commercial, once again, the hypocrisy, they completely disrespected Obama. All 8 years, did everything they could to disrespect him, and they say that. I was just fuming. So expect to see that stupid commercial. And we're going through a sell-off now. We're going through a correction. It suddenly happened. The stock market got so freaking high, and now it's going to sell off, and now it's going to go down, and you're going to hear stock market's crashing, blah, 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 blah. And do not even buy into that. Or you might even want to buy into the stock market, because I guess stuff like it's going to be cheaper now to buy some of the stock that maybe you can even buy Amazon, because everybody's talking about over the past year. Amazon this, Amazon that. Oh, look, Kmart got Amazon. Target got Amazon. All these others, Sears got Amazon. JCPenney. So buy some Amazon. I don't know. It's just stock market. And I'm working for a business talk station. So I'm sure that will be the big... If the morning show guy that I produce the morning show gets up in time to do his show, we'll see if that happens. But... back to this girl was looking at me at Starbucks, and I'm just not used to that. And she kept looking at me, and it was, I don't know if beautiful women that have a lot of guys look at them because they can't help it, and that they should not be, men don't be sexually harassing. You can, look for half a second, but don't glare, don't leer. That's just freaky, creepy, and nobody likes that. But the girl kept looking at me, and almost to the point I thought we were going to start talking. And then I thought, is there something on my face? And I went to the bathroom and looked at my face. And I wondered, is that what beautiful women go through? When guys look at them and they're checking them out, are they going, is there something on my head? So, I don't know. It felt, and I didn't talk to her. She left before I could talk to her. And I didn't really know what to say at that point. But then, later Mike, as I like to call him, later that day Mike, he came up with this really clever, I could have said to her something like, nice weather today, or this Starbucks isn't that busy. Or I could have said, hey, I do a podcast called Mike's Daily Podcast where I ranted about how Starbucks doesn't have furniture anymore, and nice comfortable furniture, and as I see right there is comfortable furniture, and I was wrong. Wrong. Dang it. So I could have talked to her and I didn't, and off she went, and she was lovely. So what is this? I guess I hit everything then. I guess Carmel was great, was wonderful. Basil the Boxer, we walked past his favorite little pet store, and they were closed. And he just stood there staring at the door. I should have posted that as the podcast picture, but instead it is of Monterey and this little spot, this little beach that's there. So it was a wonderful day, wonderful weekend. I hope you had a great weekend too. The wonderful Ariel, by the way, who does that Here's Today's Podcast Picture, and who will speak momentarily as we go outside a cafe anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast, somewhere in Podcaster Valley. She has, when she recorded that, she was still very young, and she's grown into this beautiful young woman, and she should host her own video channel, because I know she has some dramatic training. I think she could do a show. She's married, and she and her husband travel all over the world. They've been to Japan. They posted all these cool pictures of Japan, and I think she should do her own show, is what I'm saying. And maybe I can do the announcing on her podcast or webcast or whatever she does. But yeah, so don't panic, everyone. It's going to be a fine day. It's going to be a great weekend. Andrea Tintaros is going to call me up, or we're going to meet at a Starbucks, and she's going to check me out. I don't know. Maybe other things are going to happen that are positive and a positive. But the Eagles won the Super Bowl. They held off the Patriots as their delirious fans sang their theme song, and the owner lifted the Lombardi Trophy. The Philadelphia Eagles finally could breathe freely.
Into the end zone, and it is caught. Alshon Jeffrey for the touchdown.
All right, so that was, I guess, some kind of big thing yesterday, some kind of Super Bowl. Oh, but I did enjoy, then for the first time since 1960, the Eagles are NFL champions. Fly, Eagles, fly. I enjoyed the Justin Timberlake. Oh, my goodness, the Justin Timberlake. And he was with the seagulls flying around. And the beautiful... Wait, that's not what I wanted. Justin Timberlake did such a great performance. And
the National Football League.
And he even did... Oh, and Jimmy Fallon introduced him. And there was this one scene where he's walking out, and there was a girl that she kind of flashed him. Oh, no, she didn't flash him. I thought, that's... And so at first I wasn't even going to watch it, because I'm like, I don't know this song. But then he did all of his big hits. It was awesome. And he did the, it's just like a mirror, and all the mirrors out there. Oh, and the little tribute to I Would Die For You, Prince. Oh, that was great. And I thought he was making a reference to that. The last time I think he was on the Super Bowl was when the Janet Jackson thing happened. And the wardrobe malfunction. That was like 15 years ago or more. So there you go. You can find that on YouTube, the Super Bowl halftime. Oh, Filthy was that song. Okay. And, they got the full of it right there. Okay, good. So you can watch that on YouTube later, not to give YouTube too much of a plug. But I am on YouTube, the Mike's Daily Podcast channel. I think it's YouTube/Mike's Daily Podcast, something like that. And then you can also find it through the website, MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. And you can help out the show through the PayPal there and become an inglorious Mike's Daily Podcaster. And you can help out also if you're going to do any shopping on Amazon. Go through that Amazon link at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. And I don't know if you should buy any Amazon. Who knows? And that's the end of the show. Take it away, Ariel. Next show, it's going to be the wonderful Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the Engineer.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye.